And welcome inside the Backstage Pass. It is a TGIF version. I love using those little acronyms every week because it's a Friday, my favorite day of the week. I guess besides Sunday. So Friday and Sunday are my two favorite days. But we'll go with Friday today, make it a TGIF version presented by our good friends over at Bangtail Whiskey. Check them out, bangtail.com, or you can actually visit the Easy Liquor app and order off of there 750 milliliters of happiness and get it sent to your door. Everybody loves online shopping. Of course, MitchMacs.com. Great company out of Franklin, Tennessee that does our merchandise for the Backstage Pass websites at the bottom of the screen, and our good friends out of Florida, Henry Herrera and Hank Jr. Productions. Appreciate all the work that our sponsors do out there. We're live on the YouTube channel and, of course, at the website powered by the sportsguyspodcast.com. And, of course, next week, big show coming up. Nashville recording artist Cameron Marlowe right here on the Backstage Pass. We'll have an exclusive interview with him to talk about his latest single, Girl on Fire. Well, I tell you what, she's on fire since the last time we talked, and she's got a brand new, beautiful song out there, Love Should Be Brave. Can't wait to hear all about this, and of course, just learn everything about what's been going on since we last talked. Came out May the 12th. Love Should Be Brave across all the platforms now. Nashville recording artist Judy Paster on the show. Judy, what's up?
Hi, Brandon. It's great to be here. I'm so happy to be back.
I'm glad to have you back. Every time I get emails across my desk, it's like every day something else is coming on board, and it's just good to talk to just great musicians like yourself. Well, tell me all about this. I'm not going to waste any time with it because it's a fantastic song. I loved it. Back in May when I first got to listen to it, I get those little notifications. Your artist has put out another single, one of the late person on your show. So it's a good thing to stay tuned to those Facebook pages and social media out there. This is kind of a matinee show we're doing this morning. Tell me all about Love Should Be Brave and kind of where the idea came from. And this is exciting to get this music into country music fans' hands.
Thank you so much. Love Should Be Brave was inspired by my friend Bill O'Hanlon, who is a writer. He actually lives in New Mexico, and he's a full-time writer. He travels to Nashville and he writes with tons of people. And we decided to write for film and TV because that's what he does a lot of. And I've been knocking on that door for quite some time. So the themes are a little bit different when you write for film and TV, so much more universal, which I like anyway. Of course, I love to tell a good story too, but we sat down, he had this idea, Love Should Be Brave. It'll have its sweet way with your heart. And I loved it. He had a little melody just with that. And we just decided to go ahead and write it and wrote around that. And I went into the studio to cut it with my friend Pete Salas, who's actually a hit writer and does some production here on the side. And as we were in the studio and as I was cutting it, it just really started to resonate with me. And I loved it. And we shared it with some people here in the music industry. And the feedback was phenomenal. People were just like, she should release this just as it is, because it's a very short song. It's like 2+ minutes, and it's a piano track. So that's different for me because I'm a guitar player. And we just had that great feedback. And I just began to think that I want to step out and do something different like this. And so we released it.
No, it's a fantastic song. It really is. Take me back a little bit. I guess let's go back to 19. We talked about this, I know, last time on the show. The full-length album that you guys put out there, or the 8-song album, Like Stardust, there were a lot of my favorite songs on there. Some great just songs that you can kind of feel from the singer-songwriter standpoint, and some things that people can relate to. What are some of the best memories of putting out that body of work? And I think it kind of starts with Circles Around My Heart, which is a great song to set the tone for the album.
Thank you. And so wait, what was your question though?
Just kind of looking back at it, some of the best memories of that particular album. Like I said, your first kind of that 8-song.
Oh yeah.
July 12th, 19 when it came out. But looking back, I mean, there's so many great songs in there that resonate with so many people. What were some of the best memories of working on that album?
Oh yes. Well, Bill McDermott produced that record over at Omni Sound, which is a great studio on Music Row. It's an older studio. It has like a ton of history. And I went in really just to cut some vocal guitar tracks with him. And that album was organic, like the way that it came about. Like I didn't know that we were going to make an album, and neither did he. So that really stands out because it was just a pure, like, flow. It just came together, and we began to recognize like these songs sounded great, and we had a great connection in the studio. And he just ended up like calling his buddy, Russ Paul, who's one of the best steel players in the world. And he came in and put down, pedal steel on all the songs. And so it was that kind of a thing. And we had an album by the end of our time together. And that was how it came about. It was really special.
So many great songs in there. Remind people too a little bit as far as your upbringing, a little bit, your connection to music. I mean, I know the story since we had you on the audio side before too at the same time, but remind the audience out there who may not know Judy Paster, the audience, how you got connected to music from an early age, and then kind of build on top of that. I guess the cherry on top is some of the artists you were inspired by growing up.
Yes. Well, when I was around 8 years old, my parents gave my brother, my sister, and myself piano lessons. And I'm not really sure why I wanted guitar lessons instead. I started taking piano, but I think that I had seen some guitar players on TV, and I asked for guitar. And for whatever reason, my parents said, okay. And I started taking guitar lessons at 8. And when I think around the time I learned my first 2 chords, I had like poetry, like very simple poetry. Like my mom is pretty, the sun is yellow, children's poetry. And I put it to the chords and had my first song. And so it was just something I grew up with. Like after that, it was like a hobby. And then growing up in the Northeast, I really didn't realize that I'm from outside Philadelphia, for those that don't know me. I didn't realize that I could pursue music like as like a career. I looked at it as a hobby. I played through school and would do like talent shows. I remember like singing like a Fleetwood Mac song for a talent show, and when I was 12, and on and on. But eventually, when I got paid my first $100 to sing original music, I was in college and I was sold. I was like, oh my gosh, and, of course, as you do when you're younger, you put all your eggs in that one basket, but I don't regret it. I mean, I don't regret it at all. It's been like, it's my life, and it's a lifelong process growing as an artist and as a songwriter. So I'm good with it all, how it has come about to where I am now. And yeah.
Now, here's something people may not know too, because you're an excellent songwriter, and we talked about this too. I love people that just write their own stuff out there, and you see so many of the artists doing that now. They still love co-writes, but they love really putting pen to paper and kind of going through that personal experience of a song, or somebody says something, creates an idea. They're like, that would make a great song. Some people may not know. I believe it was, and you probably said this last time. We'll see how good my memory is on this. 2015, and correct me if I'm wrong, you had won which is kind of similar to the American Dove Award. I think it's called a Canadian Covenant Award for songwriting and kind of the jazz, blues, things like that. Am I correct on that? Because a lot of people may not know that.
Yes, that was a song that was written with Bill DeLuigi and a Canadian instrumental artist named Sean Spicer. And yes, they are equivalent to the American Dove Awards, and they're put on by the Gospel Music Association. And yeah, it was a great honor. We actually had a couple nominations where we had written songs together, and then Sean, being an award-winning Canadian artist, would submit them, and he was in that pool of artists. And we would get the nominations, but then we wrote this one song called Awaken My Love, and then that song won. So that was really encouraging.
I love that too. And it goes to show how sharp we stay up here with all the good information and listening back to shows. And
yes, very good. That's great.
So and some people may not know that too. Like I said, I don't like to pat myself on the back, but it's kind of cool to bring out the recognition, because a lot of people say we don't do this for the awards or the recognition or the press or this and that or the spins. But in honesty, yes, you do, because when it's good to get that feedback and a little validation to what you're supposed to be doing, which is life's calling. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing, a la AKA me doing this podcast. I debated it 3 years ago. Should I bring this back? And I look up 3.5 years later and I'm like, well, I'm glad I did, which is a good thing too.
Yes.
Out there. Again, live on the YouTube channel. You can check her out on Facebook at Judy Paster, and of course, all across the socials out there. Again, you guys can also check out again the song we've been talking about here at the top is the current single. Make sure you guys go Love Should Be Brave out there across all the platforms. Well, I tell you what, I'm going to have you turn the program over to you, have you play one here for us. I know some new stuff is coming out. Cannot wait for that. So I know you're excited about to share this music to our audience and to listeners out there. So what's up first?
So I'm going to play a new song. It's not out yet, so you won't be able to go and stream it yet, but I'm going to be cutting it. And so what I'm going to be doing is releasing an album of the singles that I released in 2021, plus Love Should Be Brave, and then about 5 new songs. Awesome. So this is one of them. And this may very well be the title track. I wrote it with a writer here in Nashville named Greg Wilson. And this is called Growing Pains.
Here we go.
Held on too long, no better time for letting go. I wanna be me I'm meant to be. Ain't no holding me back anymore. Change is a challenge, sometimes a mountain feels like I'm climbing uphill. From under where I find comfort, I get nowhere just standing still. I'm gonna break these chains, feel these growing pains. Let these 2 arms wrap around something new. I just can't wait. No, I won't be afraid. The past is all I've got to lose. Change is a challenge. Sometimes a mountain feels like I'm climbing uphill. From under.
Oh, there she is. And we're back here on the show. Yeah, there was just your mic muted accidentally. You have to unmute your mic. So we're back here on the show. Again, it's Judy Paster here on the Backstage Pass. And we'll take a quick timeout and come back here with Judy on the show. We'll have to unmute your mic a little bit, too. Your mic was muted. There it goes. Okay.
Oh, there I am.
Your mic got muted.
How much did you hear?
We heard a good half the song, but I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take a break, reset everything.
Okay.
Because the picture kind of went away. It went black. And then the mic, I guess, something bumped up against it, too, as well. We're live. That's what happens with live shows sometimes. Not a problem. We're going to come back, take a little break for Bangtail Whiskey and, of course, our friends over at MitchMacs. Come back here on the Backstage Pass more with Judy Paster. Going to replay the song and start from the beginning with Growing Pains here in just a second here. Hang tight here. It's a word from Bangtail. It is the Backstage Pass live on the YouTube channel and, of course, at thesportsguyspodcast.com. Stay tuned. More with Judy here in just a few minutes. We're going to reset. Come right back.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And back here on the show again, it's Nashville recording artist Judy Paster. It is the Backstage Pass, and that is what you call live radio and live virtual interviews that happen out there a lot of times. Not a problem, though. I'm used to it. We can reset and get back at it, too. She was playing the song Growing Pains, as we're presented by our good friends over at Bangtail Whiskey, MitchMacs.com, and Hank Jr. Productions. So I'm going to hand it over to you again. It is all yours.
Okay. Do you want me to start from the top or take
Let's start from the top. Let's get everybody knowing this song is great. And hey, sometimes the technical things, the technical side is out of your control. And we're going to start from the beginning. Here we go.
Here we go. This is Growing Pains. I counted on, I held on too long. No better time for letting go. I wanna be me, the me I'm meant to be. Ain't no holding me back anymore. Changes are childish, sometimes a mountain feels like I'm climbing uphill. I dig out from under where I find comfort. I get nowhere just standing still. I'm gonna break these chains. I feel these growing pains. Open my heart, let these two arms wrap around something new. I just can't wait, no I won't be afraid. The past is all I've got to lose. Changes are challenge, sometimes a mountain feels like I'm climbing uphill. I dig out from under where I find comfort. I get nowhere just standing still. I'm gonna break these chains, feel these growing pains. Ooh. Changes are challenge, sometimes a mountain feels like I'm climbing uphill. I dig out from under where I find comfort. I get nowhere just standing still. I'm gonna break these chains. Yeah, I'm gonna break these chains. Gonna break these chains. Feel these growing pains. Ooh. Growing pains. Growing pains.
When you got the package, you got the total package. That's what I say. Like I said, when you can sing, you can sing. I can't, so that's a good thing. You can play. And yeah, I never was able to master the guitar, but you got it down to a T out there. Like I said, when you have God's talent, it's pretty amazing, no doubt. Judy Paster back here on the show. presented by our good friends at Bangtail Whiskey, our friends at, of course, MitchMacs.com and Hank Jr. Productions. It is the Backstage Pass live on the YouTube channel and, of course, at the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Her being a Pennsylvania native, I may have a few like fan questions at the end, that kind of thing. She's still rooting on some of the teams up there and all that good stuff too as well. Don't forget next week, some great shows coming up. Cameron Marlowe is going to stop by next week, probably on Tuesday morning. We'll release that at some point that afternoon or Wednesday at some point in there. And a full slate of shows Monday through Thursday of next week. Some great artists coming up here, as they always do here on the Backstage Pass. As Judy knows, my schedule stays pretty booked up when we do stuff like this. Always crazy. It's like, get in, get a slot. Let's do this. And so we're welcome and pleased to have someone of her caliber and her talent. Mm-hmm. Hey, I want to go back to the album we had talked about, Like Stardust, because I mentioned that song, but I didn't really kind of dive in enough. Maybe we did on the audio side before, but Circles Around My Heart. Tell everybody about that one, the arrangements, the songwriting, a little bit about the studio recording, and just kind of where that idea came from.
Sure. That one is one that I wrote with Bill DeLuigi. So I mentioned him before. He's one of my best friends, and we're both from Pennsylvania. So we actually met back in Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. And interestingly enough, it was through the Nashville Songwriting International, NSAI, and it was a Philadelphia it was a Philadelphia chapter of that we met. And he was my first co-writer before I ever moved to Nashville. And actually, he is responsible for introducing me to Nashville and co-writing and things of that nature. So, but anyway, we wrote that song, fast forward, here in Nashville. And it was that song was the reason that I got with Bill McDermott, the producer. Mm-hmm. And because I wanted to cut that song and just see where it went and at least get a very good guitar vocal, if not a little bit more. And that ended up being the single off that record. And it was also the first time that I ever was played on, I don't want to say like real radio, but like FM radio, like Nashville radio picked it up. My friend Anna Lee on WMOT, which is the Roots radio station here. It's the Americana radio, and it's a great station. She played it a couple times, and then Lightning 100, which is like our independent rock station here in Nashville. Very difficult to be a local artist and actually get played on these stations because, as you know, usually it costs money to get in rotation. Yep. It does cost money, but these songs weren't, Circles wasn't put in rotation, but it was like, it was played, and it was exciting for me that it was just another thing, kind of like winning the award where you're like, oh, you get that like confirmation as an artist that you're doing something that people are being receptive to. So.
No, and like I said, it sets the tone for the album just really, really well. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of cool things on there, including the title track. There's another one I want to ask you about on there that at least created buzz for me. And, of course, I'm sure other people had a good response to it. Wings of Gold. Let's kind of dive into that one a little bit.
Oh, yeah. So you're picking the ones, well, actually, since 2019, which like a lot of, I think 6 out of the 8 songs on that album, I did co-write with Bill. And this is another one that I did with Bill. Now, when I first moved to Nashville, because he was my friend already, I mostly wrote with him. Now, he's a full-time staff writer here in Nashville. He writes with like 1,000 people. But since even just in the last few years, my, catalog or repertoire, I don't know what you call it, but my group of people that I write with has like, just so expanded. So I write with a lot of different artists now, but I still write with Bill too. So that's a nice thing for me as an artist to get to co-write so much. But anyway, so what was I saying, Brandon? I got lost.
No, just looking back in that one in particular, because Wings of Gold, that was just one that really struck me, and I'm sure everybody else. And if you've played it live out for people too, that has to be one that gets a good response when you're live on stage too.
It does. Sometimes it's like people will say, oh, that's my favorite song. I think it's my mom's favorite song, actually. But Wings of Gold, I wrote that with him here in Nashville. And it's, let's see, what can I say about it? It's definitely got a very pure, a pure sound, but it's like a classic country sound, also like the way that, but lyric wise, I wouldn't say it's like super spiritual, but it's definitely like a hope song. So it's definitely like is a song to me that is about like being able to change your perspective if you need to stay passionate and follow your path, your purpose, and your dreams. And it's kind of one of those songs. It's just got a really good message. People have said to me, well, actually, there is a fun fact about it. I pitched it to Kent Wells, who is Dolly Parton's guitar player and her producer, and he loved it. And he said, I'm going to put it in her pitch pile. I don't know if I told you that before.
I've heard that term before in the music industry. Yes.
Yeah.
Pitch
and
pile.
so it went into a with a bunch of songs that Dolly may or may not ever get to hear, but I mean, that was exciting that it like, it just sometimes your songs end up in places that you don't expect, so yeah.
I'm going to ask you about this. What's your favorite part? Do you enjoy music videos? The reason I'm saying this too, because I have the Apple Music subscription and I love going on there and just kind of finding other projects that, artists have done and songs that people may not have heard of or something like that, or they put them out as a single and then they make a music video of it. Let's break down The Ride a little bit because I did enjoy the music video. Are you a fan of them? Do you like doing them? And was The Ride a lot of fun?
It was so much fun. First of all, and that's a song for anybody that hasn't heard The Ride that I released in 2021 and made a video for it after we released the song. But we filmed the video on my husband's family's farm, which is 85 acres, about an hour and 15 minutes outside of Nashville. And it's right next to these waterfalls called Rutledge Falls. And so we were able to film on the farm where there's like big tractors and old Chevy truck and things of that nature. And then we went over to the falls and filmed some of it over there, just up the road. We had some, James McGettrick was the videographer, come out to the farm and we spent the day, doing it. And it was just like, it was really fun. I like dressing up and I like, I like being on camera. So that part is really fun. And just, we got some great sunset shots and it was just really a lot of fun.
Well, that's cool that you're a fan of them because some people have heard mixed emotions and they have to coordinate everything and make sure it's all in one place. And they say it's a lot of work. A lot of people say too, especially a lyric video. Lyric video is more than a music one, but still at the same time, it's a lot of work there. I'm going to go across the pond because anybody that knows me knows we can be heard, especially on a Friday over in the UK. And I'm not sure the time difference there, but I know where you can find us here on the Backstage Pass, powered by the Sports Guys podcast. It's at nightwaveradio.net. We're listened to in the UK, and one of my favorite buddies over there, David Hine, did have a question for Judy here. He says, hi, Judy.
Hi.
Watching from Cumbria in England. So I love that because he asked a guitar question, one that I may not get to all the time, but tell me about that guitar you're using.
The guitar I'm using is made by Taylor, and it's called a Taylor Koa. So for Koa wood, K-O-A, I believe it's a Hawaiian wood, mini. So it's a small bodied guitar with a kind of a nice fuller sound. Great for like a petite person as myself, and very easy to travel with, and just a like all around nice guitar.
And like I said, as long as it fits you and it fits the size and everything you're comfortable with playing it, that's all that matters. Because in the end, you've got to play that thing and sing, sing with it too at the same time. So it's got to suit the musician, no doubt. We'll turn it over to you. One more new one, I understand, not yet released. You're going to play for us today on the show. What is the title of this one?
Okay, so this one has a cool story. The title is Picture on the Wall.
Okay.
And the story is that there was a painting my parents bought and hung it in the living room in the house I grew up in. And they got it either when I was born or when I was a baby. And the painting is pretty big, and it's a girl sitting on a couch with an acoustic guitar. She's got long hair and she's looking down at the guitar and her face is shadowed. And anyway, she's obviously a singer-songwriter, the way she looks, and just it's this beautiful painting. And so I was sharing with my husband about the painting because my mother still has it. And I said, I just randomly said I grew up to be the picture on the wall. And he said, that would be a great song. And so I got together. This also I wrote with Greg Wilson, who I wrote Growing Pains with. And so this is called Picture on the Wall.
There we go.
Okay. There's a picture on the wall at my mama's house. There's a girl that I look up to, sit above the couch. Just looking at it, it was prophetic. Girl and her guitar mattered to my heart. Now here I am, there's magic in my hands, peace in my soul, singing all my songs. I can't help but think it's meant to be. This journey that I'm on started with that picture on the wall. Her face was shadowed and her hair was long. She never said a word, but I swear I heard her song. It was poetic, it was prophetic. Girl and her guitar set fire to my heart. Now here I am, there's magic in my hands, peace in my soul, singing all my songs. I can't help but think it's meant to be. This journey that I'm on started with that picture on the wall. I grew up and became that girl inside the frame, hanging on my mama's wall. Now here I am, there's magic in my hands, peace in my soul, singing all my songs. I can't help but think it's meant to be. This journey that I'm on started with the picture on the wall. A picture on the wall. A picture on the wall.
You know, I just want to be in Nashville right now and at one of those little writers' rounds that I got to go to when I was up there. And any of the little cafes or restaurants are always fun to visit up there too, especially the food's fantastic. And you could say Martin's, or you could say any of the places I visited when I was there too. Just hearing you do just sing. I just want to drink a beer and hear you sing like right now and just enjoy, because I'm off today, which is great. You know, I get to do this for fun and I love doing it. But yeah, I get paid for it too. But it's from the sponsors, but it's good to just sit at a cafe. And that's what I feel like. I feel like I'm in like, I don't know, Europe or something, or UK or Nashville, or just sitting in a little cafe, a local spot in town, drink a cup of coffee or my favorite beverage at 11:44 my time, or whatever time I'd be visiting in that particular time zone, and watching Judy play, which is two fantastic songs we've heard here on the Backstage Pass, again presented by Bangtail Whiskey, MitchMacs.com, and our friends over at Hank Jr. Productions. Appreciate all they do. Some great shows coming up next week. Cameron Marlowe coming by, Sarah Wickett, and of course Luke and Kaylee, Colleen Michelle Miller, Arbor North, Atlanta Springsteen. A lot of cool things coming up next week here on the Backstage Pass. One final timeout. We're going to come back with Judy and do the thing called Rapid Fire. Yeah, I guess America's fastest growing game show. We're not as big as Press Your Luck or what is it, the Pyramid now, but we're getting there. We're getting there. It's taking time. Time out here with Judy Paster on the Backstage Pass. Coming right back. A word from Bangtail Whiskey and MitchMacs. Hang tight. More to come. Rapid Fire right around the corner. We'll see you soon.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass.
So what
And
can
it
we
is
do?
a TGIF version right here on the Backstage Pass. Of course, I mentioned a lot of those great shows coming up next week. So the times will change through the summer. I mean, I got vacation, I'm off, so I just do shows when I feel like it, which is a good problem to have, Judy. That's a good problem to have here on the
That
Backstage
is.
Pass. I like that. When you feel like working, you work. You don't, you rest. So that's a good thing. Especially this heat wave that we've all gone through throughout the country is pretty amazing out there, and it's just too hot to be doing anything outdoors even right now. So I'll take the $250 electric bill and pay it and just continue to enjoy and get ruined by air conditioning out there too, especially during the summer. That's the only thing I hate about Texas is the summertime heat. I can't stand it. So
Hot.
it's just too much. And when they say, oh, it's just 93, I'm like, yeah, but think of the humidity and think of just when it heat index and that's what jumps it over 100. And it feels every bit of that outside. So
Absolutely.
people have called me crazy. I'm like, just step outside. You'll melt or fry an egg on the concrete. It's if you want to, too, at the same time. Back here with Judy, it is presented by Bangtail Whiskey, MitchMacs.com, and our friends over at Hank Jr. Productions. Check out our sponsors' websites. The bottom of the screen, live on the YouTube channel, also nightwaveradio.net, and, of course, at the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And I believe right now, actually, in the UK, you can probably hear some shows going on there on Nightwave Radio. .net. Again, don't forget to check out Judy on socials. And of course, if you missed the beginning of the show, I'm sure she will share this later. Love Should Be Brave is the current single out there across all the platforms. All right, as I go into rapid fire, give me some other goals, some things that you're looking forward to now that things are semi back to normal, maybe a little bit more than semi. Shows are going on. Artists are working again, full-fledged out there. Concerts, amphitheaters, festivals, fairs, things like that. Are you wanting to play more live, or what are some other goals as we get through halfway through 22?
Well, I have two long-term goals. I'll tell you those first because they're right on the tip of my tongue. One is I want to get like Love Should Be Brave in film. And some of my other songs, get some placements in film and TV. I'm very interested in doing that. I think that my music and voice lend themselves to film and TV. And I think it would be, it would make me happy. It would bring in more income. And I just think they belong. I just feel that they should go that direction. So that's one thing. The other thing is I want to, or I would love to play theaters because it would really lend itself to what I do, whether I'm with a duo, trio, or potentially with a band. But just like what you just heard, like Picture on the Wall, you know, these types of songs, and, you know, they're not all like slow like that, but no matter what the tempo, just that singer-songwriter thing, I think it's so well received in that theater atmosphere. And so I'm looking for those type of stages and just to get out there and do some tours. They can be small tours. They don't have to be like where we're gone for really long because but yes, so those are goals. And then just like for the rest of 2022, I'm going to be getting in the studio with a new producer. I can't announce who it is yet, but when I do, it's very special. And it will be, I think people will really love this collaboration. And so it'll be really fun. And then to proceed and get the album out and release some more singles. So yeah,
I love that too. Great in order. So just synchronization right there, man. It's all lined up for you, and best of luck with those plans. And of course, if we can help here at any point in the Backstage Pass, we'll be glad to help and lend that helping hand to see those dreams come true. That's why we do the show, no doubt about it. Give me this a little bit. Let's talk about any kind of foods or any kind of cravings lately for when it comes to takeout or cooking at home or beverages, things. And I always ask this question because it changes from time to time. It could be salsa, tacos, queso, whatever. Somebody mentions margaritas. They're always going to their favorite spot in Nashville. For you, what's it been lately, food and drink wise?
We have a favorite Mexican restaurant that's like right by our house that we go to a lot. And I do like crave that because once you start eating it, you're like, it's just like fun food, but it's just like, it's convenient. And so I do love that. What else do I crave? I'm so healthy, Brandon. I mean, I do crave chocolate sometimes, but I mean, mostly like, I just want like, this is going to be annoying to those of you that don't like healthy food, but like I crave big salads. It's very annoying. I know. And
sometimes the palate wants the lettuce, no doubt. They want the salad. I
want these big salads. I want like watermelon. I want like foods that are hydrating right now, in the summer. And I really like wine. So wine, so that's about it.
I like that. It's just another great order of foods and selection of drinks to have right there too. That is not boring because I do find myself like wanting during the week. It's like, okay, I've ate the meat or I've done the carb thing. I got to turn to the salad because my body's craving the greens, and I've got to have the greens, man. I've got to have the romaine lettuce, or go get something, or put the grilled chicken on top of the salad. So it's just sometimes it's just different. Whatever the taste buds are is what I feel when I'm in the mood for. That's the best thing. All right, let's say that I love doing this from time to time. You never know what response you're going to get. If Judy Paster won one of the big lotteries tomorrow, what's the first thing she'd do with the money?
Oh my goodness. I definitely would buy a car. I mean, and I love my car, but I know that I'm going to be needing a new one. So I would buy just a car that I love. Of course, with my husband, we would, I wouldn't just go out and get it on my own, but we would do it together. He's an expert in all things mechanical and cars and stuff like that. I'd buy a car. What else would I do? I would go on vacation, Brandon.
Yeah.
I just would. I would go somewhere tropical, beach.
First thing I'd do with it. She asked what I'd do with it the other day. I said, I said, the lottery, put it back, kids' college. But a trip to Hawaii and be gone for about 2 or 3 weeks, I'd go to Hawaii. I would. It'd just be, that's one of those places on the map. And of course, that in the UK that I've never done, that people say, your bucket list thing has to consist of 2 destinations, and that one being Hawaii and the second being Europe. So that's something I would make 2 big travel plans and 2 big destinations a part of an entire calendar year. All right, I love having fun with this one here on Rapid Fire. The title of the first song you ever wrote, or what was the song about, if you don't remember the title?
I think I already told you. It's the sun is yellow, my mom is pretty song.
That's the one. Okay. Okay.
So that's
Okay. Did it do anything? Did it get anywhere? Did it kind of do some was it just kind of a funny tune? Was it just, where did the idea come from?
It was like pretty, it was just like 2 chords. And I probably called it Flowers, because I don't know why, but I was always drawing flowers. And if you see my doodles now, they look like when I was a child. Like, I'm like, why am I still drawing those flowers and the sun and everything? So, but I don't know what it did. I guess it got me here today.
There you go. It's done something right, no doubt. Hey, give me your dream collaboration. If you could open a show for anybody, partner with somebody, record a song, like I said, kind of share a stage with, something like that. Who would your dream collaboration, as far as the particular type of artist you are, who would fit the Judy Paster kind of collaboration?
I mean, that's not a fair question, because I would like to think about that question and give you like a, perfect response. But just like, I mean, gosh, okay. Well, I'll just say this, since it's rapid fire. Sheryl Crow was a big influence on me in 99, 2000. She kind of like, her album, The Globe Sessions, kind of like opened up country rock music, like as a female that wasn't like really like back from like the 1970s or something like that, like some really older school type artist. So she was somebody that influenced me. So, I mean, and she's here in the Nashville area. So, I mean, I'd like to open for her. Now, I will say that, in recent years, I'm not as, connected to her music. So, but just in the overall scheme of like my life, I think that would be a nice collaboration, like she and Stevie Nicks and all those like old time, I don't want to say old timer, but like the ones that like paved the way for female artists and musicians, I'd like, Bonnie Raitt, current artists. I mean, I'm really not very outlaw country, but I'm sort of impressed by outlaw country. So, I mean, maybe I am a little bit, I don't know, some of my stuff. And it also depends what instrumentation I put with it. So.
Good choices, no doubt. Good names.
Okay, good.
I love that.
That's stopping me because I was going to keep.
No, you're good. You're good. I think that's awesome. And I'm kind of going to build on that a little bit with my last question here on the show. We'll wrap up today. The current shift in country music now, which may not have happened 20 years ago, 90s sound, this type of thing. But the movement now from, and I guess in a way it's still male dominated, no doubt. But we're seeing this long line, this long string of Carly Pearce, Ashley McBride, and all these top tier, Lainey Wilson, Lindsay L., all these great artists come through now. Brooke Eden, all this. What's your take on this female movement in country music? I love it.
I love it. I mean, what's not to love? I mean, women, of course, I mean, we know that they have as much to give to country music and to all music as men, but it's just kind of like you're pointing out, it's like finding their place. And I don't know. I think it's part of like history, really. Just women, like, I mean, there's been women artists and rockers and country music artists all through time, but like having more of a place like on radio and just like in general, I think being more received. I think it's great. And classic, Americana, straight on, pop country, whatever it is that you're called to do it, ladies,
That's what I said. Well, and a great, like I said, long line of names out there too that I didn't mention. Of course, with the ones I did mention, so it's a great thing to see for the industry. And as I talk to people all the time too, whether it be on one side of the industry or the other, because I'm on two different sides now, pretty cool just to see this shift and this trend go in that right direction for the ladies of country music, doing what they do best. And also, I think it's a key to what the fans are craving now. That particular modern day sound. The songs that come out, the things that hit radio, the industry is very healthy right now, and I'm glad it's back on its own 2 feet after the disaster that was COVID for a couple of years, and it really kind of sank that battleship. And definitely, everybody's had to pick themselves up by the bootstraps and definitely just kind of move on and get back to doing what they do best and performing live on stage. Well, I tell you what, the current single is "Love Should Be Brave" out there across all the digital platforms. Keep an eye out because those 2 songs you guys heard today here. The broadcast, a new album. It's going to be fantastic. Hey, always good to catch up with you. It's always great to just enjoy our chat discussions. And even like almost an hour later, I can't believe how these shows just fly by. And people say, you can fill an hour? We can fill an hour. No doubt about it. Thanks so much for being with me. Looking forward to chatting a little bit off air. We got some other things to talk about too, just as great friends. And, you got a platform here anytime you want to share your music. And thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much, Brandon. Great to be here.
You got it. And next week, some great shows. Of course, we'll have Cameron Marlowe stop by here on the Backstage Pass. Sarah Wickett, Kaylee, and we'll come by too as well. This is going to be a fantastic show. Husband and wife Luke and Kaylee, Arbor North, another fantastic husband and wife duo, Atlanta Springsteen, Colleen Michelle Miller, Texas country artist, and a whole lot more we're just building on next week here on the Backstage Pass. Thanks to our sponsors. And of course, you can check us out, nightwaveradio.net. The sportsguyspodcast.com and on the YouTube channel if you ever miss any shows. We'll talk to you guys Monday at 1:30, about that time or so. Canadian country artist. She's doing big things out there. Sarah Wickett is going to drop by, and definitely just keep posted to the socials out there. You'll see who's coming on next week. Again, the big one, Cameron Marlowe next week. Talk about Girl on Fire. Looking forward to that. We'll see you guys on the flip side. Have a great weekend here from all of us at the Backstage Pass. We'll see you soon.